Hey YouTube. So today I wanted to talk about Nintendo. So, mostly in regards to a problem I had over $20. So I initially back in I believe it was March. The end of March. I bought my wife a Switch for her birthday because she wanted to get Animal Crossing. Now, I wanted to get live for her online, and I thought the family package worked best, so me and my daughter and her can all have online. But for whatever reason, it wasn't working. So I bought her the single just for her online, aware that I may be stuck with just that and her stuck with that, so we wouldn't have the family, and my daughter wouldn't have any online, which was fine. But about 2 weeks later, I called and asked about if there was a way to combine them and make a family. I was told yes. I asked if there'd be any charge. They said no, there wouldn't be any charge, but there would be a proration. Since I had only had 6 months left and my wife had almost a whole year when you combined it, and family costs more, it'd be at a proration. So we would have about like 7 months, I think is what it was, left. And so I was okay with that. But afterwards, once I hung up, I realized that my coins have been drained from my wallet, and and there was $19 and some change charged to my credit card. So I had to call them back. Now, over this story, there was a few different times I called. I'm not going to mention all the calls, just the ones that I think is relevant. Now I called and asked, and I was told that the issue would be sorted out, and I would get my $20 back. Now, instead of getting $20 back to my credit card, I get it into my coin purse, which isn't what I wanted. So I called again, and I was told it would be resolved, and everything will be fixed for me. So after a time, I get an email saying everything's resolved and my membership has been reverted or changed or something. I wasn't sure exactly what it said. I don't remember. And I assumed that's what I wanted. Now, come to my daughter's birthday, which is in June. I thought everything was fine, and my daughter was going to use her Switch later on her birthday. But she had no online. I went to check. My wife had no online. I was the only one that had online. And it was just single, no family. So that really bothered me, so I called. And up until this point, all the people I spoke to were very nice. But the person I got to wasn't very nice, and then I was given to a supervisor, which was very rude, and basically accused me of being wrong and told me that what everyone else said I could do was not allowed. But I told her I was already promised and this and that. And so she asked, like, well, what do I want out of this? And of course, I'm a cheap consumer. I told her that, well, I want what I asked for to be done, and that would be a start because that's what I had agreed upon. So she said she'd give me $20 back to my account. She left the $20 in the $20 worth of coins. They left that in my account. And she gave me a family membership for a year. And she asked if I was satisfied, and I said, well, I mean, it's not really what I wanted. Or it is what I wanted, sorry, but it wasn't, but it took so much time and calling and stress that I don't feel happy about what happened. I mean, I'll leave it here if this is where it ends. And she said, well, I'll give you a game. So she asked what I wanted. We chose Mario Maker 2 for my daughter. My daughter got that game. Come a few weeks later, I realized that the money wasn't given to me on my credit card. It was put on my coin purse again. So I called them back, and the guy I spoke to, I explained to him, and he read the notes. That was another thing too. The employees didn't note a lot of times, so that caused a lot of issues when I was calling. But anyways, the guy read the notes and he realized what was going on. I said, "Oh, it looks like you got me by the balls, but I don't know what you want me to do. We've already given you $140 worth of stuff." And I said, "Well, I want the $20 on my credit card because that's what it's for. That's what I was owed." And he's like, "Well, we already gave you. You already have money inserted on your coins." I said, "Well, I can't go to the bank and pay with my coins, as well as the coins eventually expire. I don't know if anyone knew that. They expire in a year." So he said, "Fair enough." And he said, "I'll process it through, or send it through to the billing department to process at in up to 2 weeks." And I said, "Well, that's not going to make me confident it's going to be resolved." And he says, and I say, "So I'm willing to make a compromise." And he's like, "Well, what's the compromise?" I'm like, "Well, what can you offer me?" He's like, "Well, I'll leave that $20 in your account, the coin account." And I said, "Okay." And he's like, "I guess I can give you a game if there's a game you want." And I said, "Sure, what do you have for a game?" And he gives me a list of games. And I see Link's Awakening, the new one, and Hyrule Warriors. I said I hadn't played either of these yet. And he said, "Okay, cool, which one do you want?" And I was like, "I don't think you heard me. I haven't played either of them." So then he laughed, and he gave me both those games, and said, "Okay, is this matter now resolved and closed?" And I said, "Sure, I'll consider it resolved." And that's where it ended. So anyone that says you can't get anything on Nintendo hasn't really tried. The other thing about it too is I have remotes. I have a bunch of remotes that don't work. I made a video about those remotes. I since bought another set of Joy-Cons, and those Joy-Cons went within a couple of weeks after purchase. I've gotten this stuff to send them, but I haven't been able to go because the local Purelator, which is where they want me to send them to, is closed. So I don't really know what to do. Like, I don't even know if they're going to open again or when they're going to open. So I'm going to call Nintendo again and see if I can get that sorted out. Anyways, I appreciate everyone listening to the story. Sorry that it wasn't scripted and it was off mostly on a tangent. Alright, everyone, have a good time. Boop, boop.